Enrichment with Cool Cat Court. Jumanji is a book about a game with a lesson. So we have a book with a central message or lesson about a game with a lesson. But what is the central message or lesson of Jumanji? Let's look at the text and find key details that can help us figure it out. Did you notice that when the children find the game, the author provides a lot of details? There is a note taped on the box, and there are directions for the game. Let's look at both of these for key details, clues to the central message of the story. What key details do you notice here? What about this? This makes me wonder, who is the game not fun for? Could it be Peter? After all, he thinks the game will be boring and doesn't want to try it, even though he is already bored. It makes me think, I wonder if Peter is going to learn something in this story. And if he does, that could help me figure out the lesson or central message. What about this? P.S. Read instructions carefully. And I noticed that on the next page, Peter began to shake the dice and play with the other pieces that were in the box. Put those down and listen, said Judy. I'm going to read the instructions. Peter does not listen or read the instructions. Are you getting an idea for a lesson? Then, as soon as the game starts, Peter wants to quit. I don't think, said Peter in between gasps of air, that I want to play this game anymore. But we have to, said Judy as she helped Peter back downstairs. I'm sure that's what the instructions mean. I'm starting to build a theory about a possible central message for Jumanji. Look before you leap is a saying that means pay attention and think before you do something, or you might get into trouble. That sure seems to be a lesson that Peter could learn from this game, so it makes me think it could be one of the central messages of the book Jumanji. I'm also noticing some other key details that make me think of other possible central messages to the book. What about you? What are you thinking? Now comes the fun part. You are going to create your own game based on your own central message or lesson, and you are going to model it on the directions for Jumanji. Here is the start of the directions in the book. Jumanji, a young people's jungle adventure game, especially designed for the bored and restless. Notice there is a game title, followed by a game description, followed by the intended audience for the game. I can use this pattern to design my game. So, let's say I'm interested in making a game about penguins, because I think they are wonderful. What is a central message that I could use for my game? Maybe, life is amazing. Penguins, an Antarctic learning game, especially designed for the unexcited who say ho-hum when they look at life on Earth. Or let's say I'm interested in learning more about my family heritage. What could be my game's central message or lesson? How about we all have a heritage? Roots, a family heritage game, especially designed for those who don't know where they come from. What about the central message, don't give up? Goal, a sports adventure game, especially designed for those who struggle to persevere. And if I chose the central message, the joy of creativity, video game creation, a creativity game, especially designed for those stuck in the uncreative video game rut. Here are some examples of central messages or lessons. Now, think about a subject you find fascinating. Then, think about your central message or lesson. Finally, who would especially benefit from learning this lesson or hearing this message? Then you can write your game's directions and begin drawing your game board. Here are the directions from Jumanji. You can use these directions as a model as you write your own directions on paper. Use a piece of paper to make your game board. You can tape several pieces together if you want. Then you can find some things to serve as your game pieces, like pennies or beans or even tiny crumpled pieces of paper. You can make game cards if you like. Be as creative as you can. What will some of your spaces say? Will a player go forward or backward? And why? Remember to base everything on your central message or lesson. And be creative. You could also create your game in Google Slides if you like. Type your directions on a slide and create your game board on another slide. You can even continue your board on subsequent slides by inserting links. See you next time. And remember, stay cool.